Good afternoon, everybody. It's June 4th. This is our Joint Transportation Committee meeting. Right now, I would like to read the accessibility statement. This meeting is accessible to people with disabilities. Microphones and telephones will be used by all speakers. Large print materials are available upon advance requests. If you would like either of these accommodations, please contact Mary Waldron at 508-583-1833, extension 202. The notice of non-discrimination rights and protections to beneficiaries with regards to the federal Title VI non-discrimination protection and non-discrimination protection is posted in this meeting room and is available on the Old Colony Planning Council's website. Please contact Mary Waldron at 508-583-1833, extension 202 for more information. And after that, let's see, is there any public comment? Wow, seeing none. We'll move on.
Do we want to do introductions?
Oh, okay, call for order of instruction.
Roll call?
Sure. Abington?
Yes.
Avon?
Here.
Bridgewater?
Shane O'Brien, Town Planner.
Thanks, Shane. Brockton? Duxbury? East Bridgewater? Easton? Halifax? Hanover? Hanson? Kingston? Pembroke? Plymouth? Stoughton? Oh, I'm sorry, Plimpton? Stoughton? West Bridgewater? Whitman?
Here.
Brockton Area Transit?
Michael, Kelly, and Emily are here.
Gatra? Mass Pike? Walk, Massachusetts? MassDOT District 5?
Hi, everyone. Barbara LaChance here.
Hi, Barbara. Thank you. And MassDOT Office of Transportation Planning.
Hi, everyone. Christina Mendoza here.
Thank you, Christina. Also, Dan.
Thank you very much, Bill. Okay, now then we'll move on to two again. Is there any public comment? Again, seeing none. Let's move on to item 3, minutes from the May 7th, 2026 meeting. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I hear a second? Can I second my own motion? I'll second it. No one else will. Okay. Roll call.
Yes, sir. Abington? Avon?
Present.
Bridgewater?
Yes.
Brockton? Duxbury? East Bridgewater? Easton?
Yes.
Halifax? Hanover? Hanson? Kingston? Pembroke? Plymouth? Plimpton? Stoughton? West Bridgewater? Whitman?
Approve.
MassDOT District 5?
Yes.
MassDOT OTP?
Yes.
Bat?
Yes.
Gatra? Walk, Massachusetts? And Mass Pike. All set, Dan.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to item 4, communication. Sean?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. The first item in the communications packet is the draft 2027 to 2031 MassDOT Capital Investment Plan. The current plan is out for public review and comment period. There's an upcoming virtual public meeting for Southeastern Massachusetts scheduled this coming Monday, June 8th at 4 p.m., where you can learn more about the draft CIP and provide public comments. Public comments are due by June 10th, and if you would like to register for the meeting, the hyperlink is in the staff report.
That's
The next
that it?
item
Oh.
is,
Oh.
no, sir, there's a few more items. The next item is in the town of Kingston, replacement of Smith's Lane Bridge over State Route 3 design public hearing. It will be held Tuesday next week, June 9th, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. If you would like to register for this meeting, you can visit the hyperlink in the staff report. Next is in the city of Brockton and town of Abington, pedestrian and bicycle improvements on Route 123. There is a virtual design public hearing hosted by MassDOT Tuesday, July 28th, 2026 at 6 p.m. If you would like to register for this meeting, please visit the hyperlink in the staff report. The next item is CPTC 2026 Spring Workshop Series. Drafting zoning amendments webinar will be held Monday, June 8th at 6 p.m. To register for this webinar, please visit the hyperlink in the staff report. And this course will cover the issue of vested rights under zoning and subdivision law, why they exist, and how they affect the work of zoning boards of appeals as well as planning boards. The next item is from the Federal Funds and Infrastructure Office. Their next partnership meeting will be held June 23rd, 2026 at 2 p.m. And to register for this meeting, please visit the hyperlink in the staff report. This Saturday, June 6th, OCPC will be hosting one of its next Bike Month events in the town of Easton, titled Pedal Through Time. It will be held at Borderlands State Park over in the town of Easton. Hope to see as many people out there enjoying a nice guided tour and bike ride through Borderlands State Park. And this Sunday, weather depending, we will be hosting another Bike Month event called Bikes and Brews. It will start at the Untold Brewing in the town of Plymouth next to Cordage Park, in partnership with the Untold Brewing Cycling Club and Serious Cycles. And we hope the weather will hold off for this event. And then our last Bike Month event is Whitman Day, which will be held Saturday, June 13th from 10 to 4 p.m. It will be over at Whitman Town Park. The next is from Walk, Massachusetts. The next Brockton Walk audit will be held June 23rd at 6 p.m. We will be meeting at the Campello High Rise at 1380 Main Street here in the city of Brockton. To RSVP for this walk audit, please scan the QR code on this flyer. And that is communications, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you very much, Sean. Let's move on to 5A, Brockton Area Transit Authority, BAT. Mike, that's you?
Thank you, Chair. I will reserve my time for my update later in the agenda.
Okay. Then I guess we'll move on to B, Greater Attleboro Taunton Regional Transportation Authority, GATRA. Mary Ellen?
I do not see Mary Ellen in on the meeting. If she does join, I will let you know.
Okay, we'll hold on that one. Hold on that. We'll go to 6, old business. Fiscal year 2026 to 2030 Transportation Improvement Program, the TIP implementation. Bill, this is you.
Thank you, Chair. So we have an update for you on the 2026 to 2030 tip. We did have an adjustment that was approved by the MPO at their last meeting. So this is an informational update. This does not require a vote of this board.
Okay.
Just want to go to the next page. So this was a procedural adjustment to move $61,000 from funds that were allocated for the purchase of 8 vehicles and reallocate those funds to to another line item in the transit program for the purchase of capital maintenance items. So this did not change the overall program amount, hence why it's an adjustment and not an amendment, and it did not require a public review and comment period. So the MPO was able to review and endorse this at their last meeting. So And that is my update on the tip.
Thank you, Bill. So neither one needs to have a vote.
Nope, it's already endorsed, so it's all
Yeah.
good.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
New business. Elections, Joint Transportation Officers, 26 to 27 term.
Yep.
Right, for a report, Kelly?
Thank you. The nominating committee was able to meet last week and come to a unanimous decision. We are going to be recommending John Stone of Abington to continue as chairperson and recommendation of Dan Salvucci of Whitman to continue as vice chairperson.
Thank you very much. Glad you people approve that. Okay, and let's move on to,
I think we do need a vote on this
oh,
one.
we need a vote on this one?
Well, we need it for the first motion from somebody and then a vote.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
So moved to
Second.
nominate.
Okay,
Second.
to nominate, continue your vote, your motion.
Abington,
Yes.
Avon,
Yes.
Bridgewater,
Yes.
Brockton, Duxbury, East Bridgewater, Easton,
Yes.
Halifax, Hanover, Hanson, Kingston, Pembroke, Plymouth,
Yes.
Plimpton, Stoughton, West Bridgewater, Whitman,
Yes,
Brockton Area Transit, Gatra, MassDOT District 5,
Yes.
MassDOT OTP,
Yes.
Walk Massachusetts, and Mass Bike. So we're all set, and congratulations, Dan, and we'll also send out a congratulations to John, who was not able to be here today.
yeah, I want to thank everyone for electing us, both John and myself. The main thing is the fact that one of us will always be at the meeting to conduct.
Yeah, you guys have both been awesome. So
Yeah.
Well, you
I mean,
always are, Dan.
Yeah, I always, MPO, anything to do with Old Colony. I mean, you have to be there to take care of business.
Well, we appreciate your commitment, Dan.
Yeah. All right, thank you. Okay, let's move on to item C, 7 item B, Brockton Area Transit. Guest speaker is Michael Lambert.
Mike, I do have your presentation, but would you like to share it on your end?
We can share on our end if Emily, do you want to do that?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, let me make her a co-host, and I'll stop my share. You go right ahead, Emily.
Thank you.
While she's firing that up, I just want to thank OCPC for this opportunity and apologize to OCPC staff who've seen some version of this already or a few times. But I think it'll be good for the committee as a whole to see it. This is a good news story. This is a good time to be presenting on regional transportation improvements in the Commonwealth. The millionaire's tax has provided a new revenue stream to regional transit and allowed us to not only go fare free, as many of you have heard, but also add service at the same time. In general, the regional transit authorities have two core goals. The first is to serve and provide service to those who do not have access to a reliable vehicle. And that's well over half of our customer base. And then our secondary or even just as important goal is to offer a service that's competitive enough so that people who do have access to a private vehicle can still choose transit some or all of the time for their trips, depending on convenience, schedule, whatnot. So this is sort of an update as to our effort to address both of those priorities. All right, go ahead, Emily. So it'll come no surprise to this committee, of course, that there's a lot more vehicles in Brockton over the past 14, 15 years, and a lot more congestion as well, something that the city has to struggle with on a constant basis, and something that OCPC and of course you town representatives also think about and consider in terms of intersections development. All the decisions that we have to make on a given day is how they're going to be impacted, how congestion and traffic will be impacted. This is not necessarily a bad thing. Car ownership in Brockton going up was indicative of an overall improvement in the economy, access to funds, gives people independence, ability to hold down, better paying jobs. But at the same time, that congestion, as we know, has some serious negative effects in terms of safety or in terms of limiting development. And so that's where we come in, is again trying to offer a competitive alternative to a private vehicle. Go ahead, Emily. Go ahead. So this is looking at ridership for the month of September over a past approximate quarter century. And so for this first block of months of September, you see ridership pretty much fairly stable over that 13-year period, ranging in this sort of 230,000 trips a month to 286. And these variations are, somewhat based on weather, somewhat based on funding for that year, whether we're able to add service or not. And then starting in 2016, Brockton and transit nationally as a whole started to see a decline. Again, this is sort of the national economy doing well, more access to private vehicles. The cost of private vehicles was under control at that time. And transit just started a slow decline. And at that time, we faced a real challenge because as there are more private vehicles on the road, it became harder to run transit on time to offer a competitive alternative. And as we had struggled to provide a competitive alternative, more people turned to private vehicles, and as more private vehicles hit the road, we got caught in this very difficult cycle whereby it became hard to achieve even our first mission of offering reliable, safe service to those without access to a vehicle. And then everything got turned upside down with COVID. Transit ridership dropped precipitously, as did economic activity in general, as you recall. Although it is interesting, I like to point out here that even in 2021, when we had pretty substantial quarantines and lockdowns, we're still offering 104,000 trips, passenger trips that month. And that really goes to show the key role that we play in terms of supporting our small businesses, our frontline workers, trips to healthcare, and the like. And then over the past 2 years, so this is last September and then this September, we've seen ridership significantly increase even over pre-COVID numbers. And so for the first time in a long time, we're starting to make progress toward offering that service that can be competitive with a private vehicle. So how did we manage to increase service so dramatically? Sort of a threefold answer, starting with obviously with funding coming from the millionaire's tax, which gave us the opportunity to improve service, but that's money itself does not necessarily translate into ridership. It needs to be implemented. So the way we're able to do that, first and foremost, go ahead, Emily, is that we were in a good place at the start of when the millionaire's tax got implemented. We were in good physical shape. Our state of good repair was strong. We had good infrastructure. Here's a picture of the BAT Center in downtown Brockton, which right across the street from the commuter rail. Our buses were in good shape. We didn't have anything to fix. When the new funding came in, we had enough buses. We had enough. We had buildings that are in good shape. And so we were able to pretty quickly pour that money into service. And the one thing that really helped us, which is sort of the second element, is that over those years that we were looking at the September ridership, because our funding was pretty much level and below inflation, we and I mean, and when I say we, I mean the RTAs in general across the Commonwealth, have become very nimble, very innovative, and it's just an assortment of sort of examples here. The first in the upper left is our Mobilize system, which is a set of cameras around the bus to help avoid collisions and help protect against customers in our blind spot. And so we were the first transit agency in the Commonwealth to employ these cameras, and they've started to since spread to other transit agencies, including the MBTA. The RTAs were the first transit agencies in the Commonwealth to start experimenting with microtransit. This committee has heard about BAT's forays into those areas. So that's our bottom left corner, our microtransit services in Rockland and Bridgewater. And those are essentially Uber or Lyft type services, on demand, app based, but offered at the price of transit. So in this case, $1.50, and offers door-to-door service, either connecting Rockland and Brockton or within the greater Bridgewater area. Upper right, not currently in use, as our services are free, as you're aware, but that PVTA, a couple other regional transit authorities were the first to offer mobile ticketing on your phone. And then finally, and again, this committee has heard about this service, but we've recently introduced an Uber-based service, which runs from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. for our second, third shift workers, or just late night hospitality workers throughout the greater Brockton area that this serves our entire service area. Go ahead. We also have made a lot of improvements, a lot of advances in terms of offering climate-friendly transit service. The picture on the left is of one of our 5 electric buses in service. We have another 4 on the recently arrived on the property that are getting registered, and another 3 beyond that will be arriving in the next few weeks, including our first 40-foot electric buses. And then complementing that, you see on the right picture from the Vineyard of their solar canopies that they have over their buses. That's the next phase for Brockton Area Transit, will be to add solar canopies down our maintenance facility, add in battery storage there for resiliency and for cutting down the overall cost of operating electric buses.
Nice.
Any questions at this point? All right, go ahead.
All right. Hearing none. Thank you very much. That was a great speech.
Oh, still going. I was offering a interjection to that point. And then our other sort of innovative service that we provide is in conjunction with Bridgewater State. We provide the buses and the oversight and safety training, and Bridgewater State provides the day-to-day management and the drivers for the service. And that yields both a great service for students and employees, but also future talent for that to hire down the road. Next slide. Just by way of overview, here the map of the 15 regional transit authorities across the Commonwealth. And then we'll zoom in on BAT. Keep going. One way we're able to enhance our service and build our ridership so significantly is that we have very dense coverage of the city of Brockton, where most of our potential customers and most of our commercial activity takes place. We do provide 2 intercity services, one to Stoughton and one to Ashmont Station in the Dorchester, Roxbury areas of Boston through Milton. And so this dense coverage allows us to pulse all of our buses out on a consistent schedule that is both predictable and comprehensive for our customers. And so when we received the funding, we were able to, next slide, to really pour it right into service. And this is a comparison of our schedule in April of 2020 to our schedule in July of 2024 with all of the green highlighted trips as new pulses. So that's anything that's green you see is all of our routes going out from the BAT Center at that time. Keep going. We're able to also significantly increase Saturday service, and for the first time ever, include offer Sunday morning service. And so what we're able to do here is make Saturday and Sunday schedule align so that we're able to just shift to one weekend schedule. And that's just much easier for customers to understand and base their decisions off of in terms of using transit. So that, that really helps cover Brockton and improve service in Brockton, but we're also focused on making sure that all of our surrounding communities also receive enhanced service as well. Keep going, Emily. So that, again, this is our service area, mostly communities immediately proximate to Brockton, but also including Hanson and Bridgewater. Keep going. I mentioned earlier the microtransit as one way to address suburban transportation. It's a lot more efficient than trying to get a fixed route to run in an area that has spread out development, spread out residential. And you can see here that our microtransit ridership, known as BAT Flex, has really increased this spring. We're up around 2,000 trips a month. So on the left, you see it broken out between Rockland and Bridgewater, which is definitely still growing. Bridgewater is likely to at least catch up to Rockland, if not surpass it. But those are really good numbers and numbers that we expect to see continue to grow. Go ahead. This is a fun one that OCPC hasn't seen yet. This is our monthly ridership on the Uber service. And you can see in the last 2 months or March and April, sorry, real significant increases in the Uber ridership. And again, this is one that as word of mouth spreads and as businesses talk to each other, we expect to see continue to increase over time. We're also working to enhance the customer experience. And again, this every aspect of the trip matters in terms of how people make their decision, whether to take a private vehicle or whether to take a bus. So we're trying to get more shelters out throughout our service area. They're now have solar powered lighting. We've been moved from a flag stop system to fixed bus stops. So you'll see all around Brockton and our service area new bus stop signs. We'll be adding a second sign to these as well that will have QR codes so that people can see exactly where their bus is in real time, or communicate with us if they have a question or complaint. We're also working, go ahead, Emily, closely with the city and OCPC to support development around the BAT Center and around the commuter rail. These are all the housing starts or projects that are around our service area. And of course, the biggest one of all will be the selling of the public safety building and what goes in there. And we'll be working hard to support that effort. Go ahead, Emily. We're also working to improve our own campus. As the private sector private sector investment comes into our neighborhood, to our area, we want to make sure we match that. This is a current, or a couple months ago, view of our administration building, surface parking, and the BAT Center itself. And you can see we do have some nice plantings. We have some mature trees, but we would like to significantly increase the tree canopy and also improve the connections between our administration building our Court Street entrance and the Bat Center. So we have a 3-phase plan that's in place. Go ahead, Emily. And at the conclusion of this plan, if we're able to carry it out in its entirety, the Bat Center campus as a whole will be eligible to become a registered arboretum, which will be very cool. But what you see here is a lot more tree coverage, 2 new crosswalks, a new walkway, new sidewalks. And we're already into the first phase of construction here. I think Emily has some pictures. Yep, so here's first phase. This is taking down a retaining wall. This is taking down a fence, creating a much stronger connection between our administration building and where the customers wait for the bus. Top picture has a whole new sidewalk, which will lead up to where those cones are, and that will become a new crosswalk heading over to the bus platform. So that's making a much safer access for people coming in off Court Street to get to the bus platform. We have new bump outs on Court Street, which is the bottom right picture, creating just a safer pedestrian experience along Court Street. New plantings on the bottom left. New plantings and a new access point for people, again, coming in from Court Street, heading over to the bus platform. So we're getting close to concluding phase 1, and then we'll move on to phase 2, which is the walkway over to the parking garage. Go ahead, Emily. We're also interested in working, again, supporting the city and efforts from OCPC to improve the overall zoning code of the city, make development more predictable, higher density, pedestrian improvements, anything that helps support pedestrian and commercial activity helps make the foundation for transit stronger and higher potential of success. And we're working with the city previously on next slide, Emily, on supporting the business improvement district, which again we see as important for Brockton to maintain competitiveness in the region and in the Commonwealth. And that is our presentation.
Thank you very much. Mike, is there any questions or comments on this
Mike?
presentation?
Can the
Yes, Bruce.
slides be shared? Can the slides be shared? The tree slides in particular?
Yes, of course.
That it?
Mike,
Bruce, you have
I
some?
had several questions for you, Mike. Will there be, I remember when you've had new buses introduced in the past, you've had like a day or an opportunity for the public to see the new electric buses. Do you have a time plan so that we can go and see them, and even OCPC people and OCPC retirees maybe
even
go over and
OCPC.
see the new buses?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we'll have a customer appreciation day in September, and we'll set up definitely have our new 40-foot electric bus available for checking out at that time.
Are they Gillig buses, Mike?
They're Gillig buses.
Yeah, and the other thing too, the mayor commented, the thing I went to at BSU on Tuesday, the mayor and his very impressive economic development person said that their goal is to get as much development around the commuter rail stations as possible. Maybe to mirror like what's happening in Quincy, and of course the opportunity at the police station and stuff like that to be developed, which ties in to the bat thing across the street. So that's very exciting. The other thing is funding cuts. I know that I read all the time about how the state is trying to make sure the regional transit authorities have sufficient funding and stuff like that. Have there been federal cutbacks, state cutbacks? How's your funding stream been?
Great question. Waiting to see how the budget process plays out this year. We're expecting maybe a small increase from the state based on what we've seen from the various proposals coming out of the House, Senate, and Governor's office. Up to this point, we haven't seen any federal cuts. Certainly, this level of support for battery electric buses has essentially gone away. So we had previously received a $10.5 million grant to support our electric bus program that we're spending down, and we're not likely to be able to replace that. So that's disappointing. But in general, we've seen transportation funding has survived some of the problems in DC so far. We're waiting to see what happens with the overall federal reauthorization of transportation funding this fall. But anyway, so far things have stayed pretty stable. But certainly the sort of the infusion of funding that we saw in the first couple of years of the millionaire's tax has subsided, and we're settling into a more regular cadence in terms of small inflationary increases.
And I just had one final thing to ask you too. Not that it's good that you're going to have electric buses on the streets of Brockton, but BSU has the big buses and they have the smaller buses. Are there any, like the Ford-based chassis buses that you run at BSU and stuff like that? Has there been any thought to having electric versions of them?
Another good question. We haven't, our electric buses have just been part of our bus replacement plan. So as BSU's replacement plan, sort of goes through its schedule, and as they come up for replacement, we can certainly we'll certainly take a look at that.
Because OCPC's got their electric pickup truck named after my great friend Ray Garino. So I would expect
well said.
And presumably even BAT maintenance vehicles and maybe even the executive director's car might be an electric car.
The executive director's car is in fact electric, although it's not my car.
Yeah.
Michael, thank you very much for answering my questions. I appreciate your time, sir.
Yep.
Okay, good questions, Bruce. Is there any more questions for Michael?
So I just have a quick point, just based on the that funding question. I don't know if there will be any excess battery power that it might be able to be sold back to the grid. Is that something you guys have looked at, or is that for charging buses?
Great question. We haven't made a final decision there, but our current thinking is that we would use the power that we are generating. That we would either just would certainly store as much as we can for a resiliency point of view, but then just to cut down on the cost of charging at the outset. I think a future concerns that we face are costs of insurance and the costs of energy costs, whether it's diesel, gasoline, or electric. And so, I think obviously we will work closely with National Grid to see what their view on the matter is, and what makes it a project easier to implement and pull off versus more challenging. But our current thinking is using the power that we generate directly to.
Mike, can I ask one more question?
Yep.
Is there such a thing, Secretary Inge talked the other day about the MBTA is buying new commuter rail locomotives, and 10 will be tier 0, which, is that's the most stringent emission, and 10 will be battery electric. Are there, the bus engines are high-speed engines, the latest railroad locomotives that use Cummins engines are high-speed. Is there a possibility of transit buses meeting tier 0 requirements, or would they ever be required to do that outside of electric buses?
That is a definite conversation happening at the state level right now, as to and even at the national level in terms of some of the California requirements, as to what standards and requirements should be placed on transit buses, and whether there should be exemptions. The fact of the matter is that transit service is in and of itself inherently good for the environment, assuming that the transit service is being well used. And so there's definitely a debate going on as to whether there should be a sort of a measured approach to implementing climate-friendly, more climate-friendly transit versus making sure that agencies just have the money that they need to operate safe and reliable service. Those things can be in tension. And I think customers would certainly support safe and reliable service well before addressing climate issues, given that transit is, again, much more transit friendly than a private vehicle, much more climate friendly. So anyway, long story short, that is something that's being debated currently. It's our plan to at least get up to a 50% mix of battery electric and diesel, and then evaluate where we are at that point.
Do you use urea treatment on the bus engines for the reduction of emissions?
Kelly, any idea on that one?
Urea, like modern diesel trucks, they'll use urea as something to help cut emissions. I was just wondering if the BAT diesel engines use that.
They do not currently.
Because you see that in a lot of big trucks, of course, and the Tier 0 Cummins engines that are in the new Amtrak locomotives that Siemens is producing. They use a 4-cycle Cummins QSK engine, which uses urea as an after treatment. The big Wabtec engines and General Motors, Progress Rail engines on the freight locomotives, they're able to meet the Tier 0 requirements without urea after treatment. It's a 4-cycle engine, which is what the buses have, versus a 2-cycle engine. Anyway, more complicated. It'd be interesting to see what happens. Thank you.
All the diesel that's sold in the Commonwealth has to meet pretty strict standards set by DEP and EEA. So that, we certainly benefit from that. So.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's move on to item C, the draft of the 2027 Old Colony Unified Plan Work Program. Charlie?
Great, thank you, Chair. So this is a continued discussion from your last meeting where we talked about the Universal projects. Happy to report that the MPO at their May meeting released our draft Unified Planning Work Program, which is a scope and work on budget for the upcoming federal fiscal year. This is out for a public review period. And as we pan through here, next slide. These are the different elements of the Unified Planning Work Program. As you can see, a lot of recurring items such as development of the Transportation Improvement Program, operation of our public participation program, our traffic counting program, our drone program. Next slide. And then rolling on in task 3000, I want to point out some exciting discretionary tasks that we have upcoming in the new year. Will be a overall bicycle and pedestrian plan for the region, continue development of our long-range transportation plan. This will be phase 2 of 3. And then we're bringing back our road safety audits at multiple locations project. And this is where we'll be working with communities to identify locations where they would like to have road safety audits done, and also looking at our Safe Streets for All Vision Zero action plan and our high injury network for locations from that as well. And we feel that be able to complete about 10 of these road safety audits in the upcoming year. So that's pretty exciting. Point out that this overall program, the Unified Planning Work Program, is funded by Federal Highway, Federal Transit, Brockton Area Transit, and then importantly, the matching funds to the federal funds are provided by MassDOT. So we certainly thank all our funding partners, and we think this is a pretty ambitious program. And one of the things that's also embedded within here is our prioritization process pilot program, locally branded here as PRISM. And this is where we're working with a consultant in the communities to develop a new structure for our transportation evaluation criteria. And just to shout out John Fay of our team recently sent out an email earlier about some upcoming public workshops. The first is next week on Tuesday at 12 o'clock in Plymouth at the main library, and then this will be followed up next Wednesday. There's a meeting at the library in downtown Brockton, and this will be followed by a virtual public meeting. So check your inboxes for those invites, and please let us know if you're interested in attending. But at this point, I'll certainly entertain any questions, but this would be an action item for potential JTC approval and report results of that at the MPO meeting coming up on the 16th of June.
Okay, if anyone has any questions before we take a vote? Seeing none, do I hear a motion to accept?
Motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second,
Thank you very much.
Abington,
Yes.
Avon,
yes.
Bridgewater, Brockton, Duxbury, East Bridgewater, Easton,
Yes.
Halifax, Hanover, Hanson, Kingston, Pembroke, Plymouth,
Yes.
Plimpton, Stoughton,
Yes.
West Bridgewater, Whitman,
Yes,
Batt,
Yes.
Gatra, MassDOT District 5,
Yes.
MassDOT OTP,
Yes.
Walk, Massachusetts, and Mass Bike. Thank you, Chair.
okay, thank you very much. Move on to 7D, draft of the 2026 Coordinated Human Resource Transportation Plan, CHSTP. I-21 day public review and comment period. Sean.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Just following up from my presentation to this committee a few months back on the draft 2026 Coordinated Human Services Transportation Plan. This plan is important because any project that seeks 5310 funds must be part of a Coordinated Human Services Plan. This plan helps providing information for serving transportation disadvantaged populations, which is defined as anybody who is unable to transport themselves and can be used for such specific needs as medical appointments, getting to school, getting to work, or just shopping. Special needs transportation is also identified, which is any mode of transportation used by those defined as transportation disadvantaged or with a special transportation need. The types of transportation can include fixed route, paratransit, rideshare, volunteer driver programs, and any other federal, state, or locally funded mode of transportation. So here's a breakdown of all the programs that are addressed in this report. 5310 is broken into two categories, the first being traditional, which provides capital project funding with an 80% federal funded with 20% match. And then non-traditional is capital and operational funding with a 50-50 funding and match. The next is 5307 for urbanized areas, which provides technical transportation related studies, funding, capital for bus and bus-related activities, as well as capital for new or existing fixed guideway systems. The capital funding is 80-20 split for funding and matching. Vehicles is 85% and 15% for a match, and then vehicle equipment and facilities is 90% funded with a 10% match. Next is for 5311 for rural areas, which provides capital, operating assistance, and Americans with Disabilities Act non-fixed route paratransit service assistance. The capital funding is 80% match with 80% funding, with 20% match, 50-50% for operating assistance, and then ADA paratransit is back to the 80-20 split. And then lastly, for here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts is the state's Community Transit Grant Program, which provides operating, mobility management, and accessible vehicle funding for older adults and people with disabilities. The operating funding is offered at a 50-50 split. Mobility management, 80% funded and 20% matching. And then lastly, accessible vehicles, 85% funded and 15% match. So coordinated transportation allows for coordination with transit providers to address gaps in between their service areas. You can achieve this by utilizing ride-hail services like microtransit with Brockton area transits to Rockland and Bridgewater services, as well as Uber and Lyft to help fill any identified gaps. You can also group riders from different funded agencies who may be traveling to the same or similar destinations. And you can leverage purchasing power for vehicles and training to provide these services. And here's a list of the transportation providers in the Old Colony region, which includes the Area Agency on Aging, which is the Old Colony region, the 17 communities, plus 6 additional communities that border the Old Colony region. First and foremost, we have BAT here in the city of Brockton. We have GATRA, which services from the Attleboro and Taunton region, also over to the east side of the Old Colony region for Plymouth, Kingston, and Duxbury. There's the South Shore Community Action Council, private commuter buses services such as Plymouth and Brockton and Peter Pan, councils on aging in all of our communities, the Old Colony Area Agency on Aging that I previously mentioned, as well as numerous private transportation providers. And then some of the identified unmet service needs, expanded public transportation service area and hours, transportation options to areas with a concentration of employers, for example, the Avon Industrial Park. And then lastly, connecting regional transit authorities to facilitate regional mobility, such as BAT and GATRA, which one example is the Gateway Link that has connected the BAT, GATRA, and SRTA regions. And then some of the strategies for these unmet needs can be expanded microtransit services, increased fixed route service area and hours, as well as the same for paratransit service. Expanded volunteer driver programs, such as the Ombudsman program here at Old Colony. Promoting increased transit connections, such as the Gateway Link previously mentioned. Expanding the paratransit buffer beyond the 3/4 mile buffer around fixed route. And BAT does have a couple of those services in some of their communities. And then lastly, same-day transportation services. And that is my report on this plan. As mentioned, this is currently out for a 21-day public review and comment period. And happy to answer any questions anybody may have. And if not, I would like to ask for an endorsement of the draft plan.
Does anyone have any questions for Sean? Hearing none, would somebody like to make a motion to endorse this plan?
Motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. Roll call.
Abington,
Yes.
Avon,
Yes.
Bridgewater, Brockton,
Yes.
Duxbury, East Bridgewater, Easton,
Yes.
Halifax, Hanover, Hanson, Kingston, Pembroke, Plymouth,
Yes.
Plimpton, Stoughton,
Yes.
West Bridgewater, Whitman,
Yes.
Brockton Area Transit,
Yes.
GATRA, MassDOT District 5,
Yes.
MassDOT OTP,
Yes.
Walk, Massachusetts, and Mass Bike. Also, Dan.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Okay,
everyone.
let's move on to number 8, old business. Community local technical assistance study. Bill.
Okay, this is a very quick report because we don't currently have any actual traffic studies or data collection efforts that we're working on right now. It's not to say that we don't do LTA week to week. We constantly get requests, that we're able to respond with rapid responses such as, is such and such street in my community thickly settled? Is there any money available for speed limit signs, those kind of things? So that's stuff that we typically, would do under the LTA program, but it's not an ongoing study. With that being said, if you have a traffic study or data collection request in your community, by all means, contact us and we'll take a look at it.
Thank you very much, Bill. Item B, staff review on the ENF and the EIRs and the NPCs. Kyle.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a few items to go over with you all. The first one is for the city of Brockton. It's the Lovett Brook Urban Renewal Plan. This is a environmental notification form, and this URP encompasses 51.67 acres and includes a mix of commercial, institutional, residential, and underutilized properties located near the intersection of Route 24 and Route 27. And this URP at this time, it doesn't propose specific projects, but it's providing a framework for potential future actions. And then the next one for Carver and Plimpton, it's the Ricketts Pond Business Park. And this is a expanded notice of project change. And the project change, this involves the construction of a residential development instead of a light industrial warehouse use. This will be a 60-unit multifamily residential development, and it will be called the Ricketts Pond Estates. And then I just provided a table here going over the other changes with that project. And then we have a certificate for the town of Pembroke. It's the multifamily residential housing. This is a environmental notification form. And the certificate states that this project, it does not require an environmental impact report at this time. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Before I go to item C, is anyone from GATRA come in?
No, it does not look like it.
Okay, so we'll pass that over. Okay, regional concerns of local communities and transportation issues.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a point before I go on with about Mary Walden came to our Board of Selectmen's meeting on Tuesday night. She made a presentation about what Old Colony Planning Council is all about and what it does for not only the town of Whitman, but all the towns in the region, the Old Colony region. And let me tell you, it was a very impressive presentation. Our board was thrilled to hear about exactly what Old Colony is offering to the towns in their district. That's all I have to say. Bruce, you have something?
Yeah, Dan, a couple of Abington things. The reconfiguration of the intersection of Shore Ave and Washington Street is well underway. Pavement's all dug up. There's diggers out there, so that's good to see that going. Also, the new public safety complex, which will include the highway department garage and the fire station, are well underway. It's been delayed. The DPW's, if John Stone were here, he would tell you the thing was scheduled. The highway department was supposed to be scheduled by the end of the year. It doesn't look like it's going to be done. It's going to go into the well into the new year, and also the fire station. I guess delays in steel, tariffs, and stuff like that. But it's good to monitor it, and it's on the cover of the current town report, and also to sing the praises of OCPC. The OCPC people provided a good update of OCPC activities for our town report. I'm sure every other town reported it. It was good to see that. So it's good to see things rolling along.
Thank you very much, Bruce. Anyone else? Saying none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Do I hear a second? No one wants to go home? No second?
Second.
There you go. Okay. All in favor? Aye. Just say aye.
Aye.
We're all set. Okay,
Aye.
thank you very
Thanks.
much.
Aye.
Thank you.